The galaxy had been at war for centuries. Different factions, each with their own agendas, fought endlessly for power, control, and survival. There was one constant in the galaxy: the wars never stopped. No one ever thought anything could change the balance of power, but they were wrong. Humanity had been unknown to the galaxy's many factions. Earth, a small, unremarkable planet, sat quietly in a distant corner of the galaxy, far from the constant battles. But everything changed the moment humanity made its first move. A fleet of ships, unlike any seen before, appeared on the galaxy's outer edges. No one had seen them coming, and no one knew who they were. At first, the leaders of the galaxy dismissed the arrival as another group looking for resources. They had no idea that this small, insignificant species from a backwater planet would shake the galaxy to its core. The ships were massive, sleek, and powerful. They moved with precision and speed that left the other fleets stunned. Communications were sent out, but they received no response. The ships were silent, watching, waiting. Rumors started to spread quickly through the galaxy. Some said the humans were a peaceful race, just looking to explore. Others said they were a warlike species, eager to conquer. But no one knew for sure. In a small conference room on one of the Galactic Council's flagship stations, the leaders of the galaxy gathered to discuss the unknown threat. The room was filled with uneasy murmurs as officials from various factions debated. This could be nothing. One alien leader said, trying to sound confident, "We've seen new species arrive before. Perhaps it's just another race wanting to trade or join the war." But another voice, this one from a more cautious faction, spoke up. "What if they are more than that? What if they are a new power, one we've never faced before?" The room fell silent. The leaders looked at each other, unsure how to proceed. As the hours passed, a sudden transmission came through. It was short and direct. "We are humanity. We come to bring peace or war, depending on how you treat us." The message was chilling in its simplicity, its directness. There was no plea for cooperation, no request for diplomacy, just a cold statement of intent. The galaxy held its breath. Who were these humans? And why were they so confident? In the silence that followed, the galaxy's leaders realized one thing. Humanity was not like any species they had encountered before. They didn't ask for permission. They didn't beg for acceptance. They simply arrived, and they were not going to back down. The first wave of humanity's fleet moved closer, leaving the galaxy's factions with no choice but to watch. No one knew what would happen next, but they all understood one thing. The galaxy had just been changed forever. This sets up the tension and mystery around humanity's sudden arrival, with suspense and anticipation for what's to come. As the days passed, the galaxy watched in stunned silence. Humanity's ships moved steadily toward the core of the galaxy, and every faction was on edge. Some sent scouts to get a closer look, while others prepared their fleets, just in case. The galaxy was used to wars and threats, but humanity was different. No one had seen anything like them before. The human ships were unlike any other. They didn't have the same slow, methodical approach that most alien fleets used. Instead, they moved quickly and decisively, as if they knew exactly where they were going and why. They didn't waste time with endless messages or demands. They simply came. The first true test came when an alien fleet, known for its ruthless tactics and powerful weapons, crossed paths with the humans. The aliens had heard the rumors about the human strength, but they didn't believe it. They thought the humans would back down like any other weak species that tried to enter the war. But they were wrong. The battle began as expected. The alien fleet opened fire first, launching massive energy blasts at the human ships. The humans didn't retreat or hesitate. Instead, their ships moved with incredible speed, dodging the blasts with ease. The alien fleet was not prepared for the human ships' agility. Human ships responded with deadly precision. Their weapons fired in perfect synchronization, targeting the weakest points on the alien ships. The aliens were caught off guard. Their advanced technology, which had always been seen as unbeatable, didn't seem to matter against the humans' tactics. The battle was over before it had even truly begun. The alien fleet was forced to retreat, leaving behind debris and a handful of survivors. The message was clear. Humanity was not to be underestimated. They didn't fight like anyone else, and they didn't follow the same rules. Back at the Galactic Council, the leaders were left in disbelief. They had expected the humans to be weak, or at best, just another player in the war. Instead, they had witnessed the humans' raw power and cunning. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. The humans hadn't just survived the attack. They had turned the tables completely. "I told you we should have taken them seriously," one council leader muttered, staring at the footage of the battle. "This is just the beginning." But even as the galaxy's factions scrambled to understand what had just happened, another question loomed over them. Why were the humans here? What did they want? The galaxy had long been divided, each faction fighting for control. But humanity's sudden appearance had shaken the very foundations of everything they knew. What was the purpose of their arrival? Were they here to help, or was this just the first step in a much larger plan? The questions were endless, but the answers remained elusive. As the human fleet continued its journey deeper into the galaxy, one thing was certain: nothing would ever be the same again. Humanity had entered the war, and the galaxy was about to learn just how far they would go to win. This part builds on the mystery of humanity's arrival and their surprising power, keeping the audience on edge and eager to see what happens next. After the stunning defeat of the alien fleet, the leaders of the galaxy began to reconsider their stance on humanity. Some saw the humans as a new hope, an ally who could bring stability to the endless wars. Others, however, saw them as a threat, a powerful force that could quickly dominate everything. But one thing was clear: the humans were not like anyone they had dealt with before. The Galactic Council decided to take action. They called for a summit, hoping to open diplomatic channels with humanity. The idea was simple: if the humans were willing to talk, they could be convinced to join the galactic community. But the Council knew that if diplomacy failed, they would have to take a more aggressive approach. A delegation of the galaxy's most respected leaders gathered at the summit. The humans sent a representative, a tall figure with a commanding presence. His name was Captain Marcus Carter, and he looked every bit the part of a soldier, confident, sharp, and prepared. He arrived with a small group of diplomats, all dressed in their formal uniforms. As the summit began, the atmosphere was tense. The leaders of the galaxy were eager to understand the humans' intentions, but they were also cautious. Many wondered if they could truly trust these newcomers, especially after their unexpected victory in the battle. The humans, however, were calm and collected. They weren't here to play political games. They had one simple message: they wanted peace, but only on their terms. "We are not here to make deals or trade favors," Captain Carter began, his voice steady and clear. "We're here because we believe the galaxy is tired of endless conflict. You can either accept our terms, or you can continue the war. The choice is yours." The room fell silent. The other leaders were shocked. They had expected negotiations, compromises, and offers of alliances, but the humans had none of that. Instead, they were offering a stark ultimatum. The message was simple: either work with humanity, or face the consequences. One of the alien leaders, a proud warrior species known for their aggressive tactics, stood up. "We will never bow to anyone, least of all to humans. You may have won one battle, but that doesn't mean you can dictate the future of this galaxy," he said, his voice full of anger. Captain Carter didn't flinch. "Then you will face what comes next," he replied, his words cold and unwavering. "We are not afraid of a fight, but we are offering you a chance to avoid it." The alien leader sneered but remained seated. He wasn't the only one who disagreed with the humans. Other leaders around the table exchanged nervous glances, unsure whether they should take humanity's offer seriously or prepare for war. The humans, however, were already prepared. Their ships were waiting, ready to respond to any threat. The summit ended in chaos. The alien factions that opposed humanity's demands grew louder, accusing them of arrogance and trying to force their way into the galaxy's politics. The humans, however, remained calm and firm in their resolve. They had shown that they were ready to fight, but they were also willing to offer peace for those willing to accept it. As the summit broke up, Captain Carter's words lingered in the air. The galaxy had never seen anything like humanity before. Now, the question wasn't whether they could be defeated, but whether the galaxy could afford to ignore them. This part shows humanity's direct approach to diplomacy, highlighting their no-nonsense attitude and building tension as the galaxy struggles to decide how to deal with them. After the diplomatic summit ended in chaos, the galaxy was thrown into a state of uncertainty. Some factions saw humanity as a dangerous power, while others were intrigued by their boldness. There was no middle ground. Humanity's arrival had shaken everything. In the days that followed, the Galactic Council met again, but this time with a different focus. The council members were now more concerned about the humans' potential impact on the galaxy's power dynamics. They were no longer questioning humanity's strength. They were questioning what would happen if humanity continued to challenge their control. The human fleet, having made their intentions clear, moved into a new sector of the galaxy. They didn't wait for approval or confirmation. They simply acted. Their ships were an unstoppable force, moving with precision and purpose. The galaxy's leaders had no choice but to take notice. A new message was sent from humanity. But this time, it was more than just a declaration. It was a statement of what they were willing to do. The message read, "The galaxy is tired of war. We are not here to play games. If you want peace, we can make it happen. If you want to continue fighting, we will bring an end to it." The message sent waves of shock through the Galactic Council. They had expected a fight, but humanity's calm resolve was different from anything they had encountered. They didn't ask for alliances or treaties. They didn't beg for peace. They simply said, "This is how it will be." As the message reached the various factions, a growing tension spread across the galaxy. Some factions saw humanity's actions as an opportunity for peace, something the galaxy had never truly experienced. Others, however, feared what would happen if the humans had their way. It was clear that humanity would not stop, not now and not ever. They were determined, and they would not be swayed. The decision came swiftly. A powerful coalition of alien forces, led by the aggressive Shoran Empire, declared war on humanity. They were determined to put the humans in their place, to show them that no one could dictate the galaxy's rules. But humanity's response was immediate. The Shoran Empire launched a massive attack on a human-occupied planet, expecting to crush them. What followed was a shocking turn of events. The humans, despite being outnumbered, had planned for this very moment. Their ships moved with deadly accuracy, catching the Shoran fleet by surprise. The battle was over in a matter of hours. The human forces, although smaller in number, fought with a strength and precision that none of the other factions could match. The Shoran fleet retreated, humiliated and broken. The galaxy watched in disbelief as humanity's resolve became undeniable. They were not just here to survive. They were here to dominate. The victory sent a clear message to the galaxy. Humanity would not be pushed aside, and they would never back down. As the humans prepared for the next phase of their mission, they were not focused on victory alone. They were focused on something deeper, bringing a lasting peace to a war-torn galaxy, even if they had to fight for it. The galaxy had underestimated humanity before, but now they knew better. The question was no longer about what humanity wanted. The question was how far they would go to achieve it. This part highlights humanity's unwavering determination and their ability to quickly respond to threats. The tension continues to build as the galaxy comes to terms with the humans' resolve. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. The Shoran Empire, one of the most feared factions in the galaxy, had just been defeated by a much smaller human fleet. The news spread quickly across the stars, and the entire galaxy was left in shock. How could a species so young and untested be so powerful? The defeat of the Shoran fleet wasn't just a military victory, it was a turning point. The galaxy's factions were starting to realize that humanity wasn't just another player in the war. They were a new force to be reckoned with. Soon after the battle, the humans' next move became clear. They didn't retreat or rest. Instead, they marched forward, positioning themselves as a dominant force in the galaxy. They weren't interested in the old power struggles between the other factions. They wanted control, peace, and the power to end the endless conflict. The Council, still reeling from the loss to the Shoran, called an emergency meeting. The threat humanity posed was now undeniable. Representatives from various factions gathered, trying to decide what to do next. Should they form an alliance to stop the humans, or should they wait and see if the humans' boldness would lead them to overstep? Before they could make a decision, humanity struck again. This time, the humans targeted an entire sector of space that had been at the heart of a long-standing conflict. A war between the Ch'tar Dominion and the Vixian coalition had been raging for centuries, with no end in sight. Both sides had grown tired of the endless bloodshed, but neither was willing to back down. Humanity's arrival in the sector was swift. They didn't ask for permission or approval. They simply moved in. The human fleet, once again smaller but more strategic, began systematically shutting down the conflict between the Ch'tar and Vixian forces. They didn't ask for cooperation. They took action. They enforced peace, not with diplomacy or talks, but with their unyielding strength. The Ch'tar and Vixian forces, initially shocked by the sudden appearance of the humans, quickly realized that resisting them would be useless. The humans didn't wait for them to make a decision. They took control of key planets, neutralized military strongholds, and stopped both factions from continuing their war. The two factions, now completely outmatched, reluctantly agreed to ceasefire under the humans' terms. Humanity had done what no one else could do in centuries. They'd brought a conflict to an end without a single shot being fired by the other side. The galaxy watched, stunned. In just a few days, humanity had ended a war that had lasted for hundreds of years. The other factions, unsure of what to make of this new power, began to take a long, hard look at the humans. They realized that these humans were different. They weren't just here to join the war. They were here to end it. The question on everyone's mind was no longer whether humanity would succeed. It was how far they would go. The humans had shown their strength, and now the galaxy had no choice but to pay attention. The first major battle had been won, but humanity's true challenge was just beginning. This part continues to show humanity's overwhelming power and their ability to bring peace through force, keeping the suspense high as the galaxy struggles to understand their true intentions. The galaxy was now facing an uncomfortable truth. Humanity was not just a new player in the war, they were a force to be reckoned with. After their unexpected victories against the Shoran Empire and the Ch'tar-Vixian conflict, many factions began to rethink their strategies. Some saw humanity as an ally that could bring an end to the endless wars. Others, however, feared what humanity's growing power meant for the future. The more aggressive factions, those who thrived on conflict, were especially uneasy. The Shoran Empire, humiliated in their defeat, swore revenge. They could not allow themselves to be overshadowed by a species they saw as inferior. But humanity had proven that they would not back down. The question wasn't whether the Shoran could beat them. It was whether they would be able to stop them once humanity set its sights on something. The tension in the galaxy reached a boiling point. The warlords, generals, and leaders of the galaxy's remaining factions began to see humanity's rise as a threat to their control. Their power was built on endless war, and humanity had shown that they would stop it if necessary. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy faced the possibility of real peace, something the old powers could not accept. The Shoran Empire, now desperate to restore their pride, declared war on humanity once again. This time, however, It was not just a simple attack. The Kshorin gathered a massive fleet, joined by other factions who still wanted to challenge humanity. It would be their final attempt to prove that they were still the galaxy's dominant force. Humanity, in turn, prepared for the worst. They had expected this move, and their fleet was ready. But this battle was different. The stakes were higher, and both sides knew that the outcome would shape the future of the galaxy. The battle took place in the vast expanse of the Yara system, a place known for its massive gas giants and dangerous asteroid fields. The humans, ever tactical, used the environment to their advantage. They lured the Kshorin fleet into the asteroid fields, where their larger ships struggled to maneuver. The Kshorin, relying on brute strength, found themselves at a disadvantage as the humans moved with agility and precision. As the battle raged on, the true power of humanity was revealed. Their ships, though smaller, were faster and more technologically advanced. They employed new strategies, using their ships' superior maneuverability to strike at the heart of the Kshorin fleet. The Kshorin, unable to land a significant blow, found themselves in retreat once again. It was a crushing defeat for the Kshorin Empire, and this time there was no escape. Humanity had made their point clear. They were not here for negotiation. They were here to end the war. The message was undeniable. Humanity had proven that they could dominate the galaxy if they chose to. As the dust settled, the galaxy was left in shock. The Kshorin Empire had suffered yet another loss, and many of the other factions began to question whether it was even possible to continue the war. Humanity's power was growing, and there was nothing that could stop them. The reckoning had come. The galaxy now had a choice: submit to humanity's rule or face certain destruction. Peace, it seemed, was within reach, but only if the galaxy was willing to accept it on humanity's terms. This part builds the tension around humanity's relentless strength and the fear it causes in the galaxy, setting the stage for the choices the galaxy must now face. In the aftermath of humanity's crushing victory over the Kshorin Empire, the galaxy found itself at a crossroads. Many factions that once viewed humanity as an unknown threat were beginning to reconsider their position. There was no denying it anymore. Humanity had shown the galaxy their power, and they had no intention of stepping back. But there was something different about humanity's approach. Unlike the many factions that fought for dominance, humanity seemed to have a singular goal: peace. It wasn't a peace born of weakness or fear. It was a peace born of strength and the desire to end the endless wars that had plagued the galaxy for so long. The leaders of various factions, still shaken by their defeats, began to realize that continuing to fight against humanity would lead to nothing but destruction. There was only one choice: join humanity or risk being wiped out. In secret, several factions sent emissaries to Earth. They didn't come with weapons or demands. They came with offers. These were leaders who had watched humanity's rise with growing respect and fear. They understood that aligning with humanity was the only way to survive. The emissaries came to offer their allegiance, hoping to form a new, unified front under humanity's rule. At the same time, humanity's leaders were preparing for their next steps. Captain Marcus Carter and his generals gathered in their war room, analyzing the current state of the galaxy. They knew that true peace could only be achieved if the old conflicts were erased. The alliances humanity would form needed to be built on trust and mutual respect, but most importantly, on the understanding that the old way of war would no longer be accepted. Peace can't be bought through threats alone, Carter said to his team. We have to show them that we're not just strong. We're fair. We have to rebuild what's been broken. Only then can we truly unite the galaxy. And so, the first tentative steps toward a new alliance were taken. Humanity's leaders met with the emissaries of the various factions, their message clear: join us, or face the consequences. But we are willing to help those who want to rebuild. It wasn't easy. There were those who resisted. The old warlords, those who had built their power on conflict, were unwilling to surrender control so easily. They saw humanity's rise as a challenge to their authority and power, but their voices were growing quieter with every passing day. A few of the galaxy's more peaceful factions, those who had grown tired of the endless fighting, saw an opportunity for change. They saw that humanity, despite their strength, were offering an actual solution. The possibility of peace, something the galaxy had never truly known, was finally within reach. One by one, the first factions began to align themselves with humanity. The Jtar Dominion, once fierce opponents of the Vixian coalition, agreed to join forces with humanity in order to stop the endless cycles of war. The Vixian themselves, tired of the constant bloodshed, followed suit. Soon, a few more factions came forward, each offering their support for the new order humanity was trying to establish. The galaxy, once divided and torn by endless wars, was beginning to come together. But there was still much work to be done. Humanity had to prove that their vision for the galaxy wasn't just about power, it was about ending the endless cycles of destruction and rebuilding something better. The old powers of the galaxy were in decline, and a new order was beginning to emerge, one led by humanity. This part shows how humanity's strength and resolve are shifting the power dynamics in the galaxy as factions start to choose unity over continued conflict. It builds hope for a new future while keeping the tension high for the challenges that still lie ahead. As humanity's influence spread across the galaxy, a new order was slowly taking shape. The once divided factions, worn out by centuries of conflict, began to look at humanity not just as a powerful force, but as a leader capable of bringing true change. Yet, as alliances formed and the dust of battle settled, one question remained. Could the galaxy truly live in peace, or was war still an inevitable part of their future? Humanity was determined to show that peace was not only possible, but worth fighting for. With their new alliances in place, Captain Marcus Carter and the human leaders crafted a set of principles that would guide the galaxy into a new era. They called it the Human Code. It was simple, but profound. Strength through unity, peace through justice, and honor above all. The first test of this new code came soon after. A rebellious faction, the Drexel Syndicate, had refused to join the peace talks and had continued to operate outside the new alliances. They were an underground group, thriving on illegal trade and violent conquests, and they had long profited from the galaxy's chaos. They saw humanity's rise as a direct threat to their way of life. The Drexel Syndicate launched a surprise attack on one of the human-controlled planets, hoping to send a message. They had expected the humans to retaliate with overwhelming force, as they had done before. But humanity, under the new code, was different. They didn't immediately respond with violence. Instead, Captain Carter called for a council meeting. "We can't let them push us into the old ways," Carter said, his voice steady but firm. "We're not just here to dominate. We're here to build something better." The council agreed. They decided that the Drexel Syndicate would be given one chance to surrender and join the new order. Humanity was ready to offer a path to redemption, but they made it clear that there would be consequences if the Syndicate continued their attacks. As the offer was broadcast across the galaxy, it left many factions stunned. They had expected the humans to crush the Syndicate without hesitation. Instead, they were offering them a chance at peace, a chance to change their ways. It was a bold and risky move. Would the Syndicate accept, or would they continue their campaign of violence? Weeks passed with no word from the Drexel Syndicate. Tensions were high, and many began to fear that humanity's offer would be rejected. But then, unexpectedly, a message arrived. It was from the Syndicate's leader, a ruthless warlord known for his cunning and cruelty. His tone was cold, but the message was clear. "We will meet on neutral ground. We will hear what you have to offer." The meeting took place in the neutral zone, a region of space where no faction had control. The leaders of humanity and the Drexel Syndicate came face to face, the tension thick between them. But Captain Carter stood firm, offering peace and the opportunity for the Syndicate to join the new order. The syndicate leader, after a long silence, finally agreed. "I never thought I'd see the day when strength would come from peace," he said, his voice low. "But I see now that I've been wrong." The galaxy watched in awe as the syndicate, once a symbol of chaos and destruction, joined the human-led alliance. It was a moment that proved the power of humanity's code: strength through unity, peace through justice, and honor above all. The human code was more than just a set of rules. It was a philosophy that would reshape the galaxy, one step at a time. And as the first year of peace under humanity's leadership came to a close, the galaxy began to realize something profound. Peace might just be the most powerful weapon of all. This part shows the strength of humanity's new approach, emphasizing peace over violence, and sets the stage for long-lasting change in the galaxy. It highlights the challenges of maintaining peace and the power of unity under the human code. The galaxy, still adjusting to humanity's rise, was beginning to change. Old rivalries were fading, and peace seemed within reach. But in the farthest corners of the galaxy, a threat loomed that no one had anticipated. A once-thought-extinct species, known as the Sauran, emerged from hiding. Their arrival wasn't peaceful. The Sauran were ancient, powerful, and feared by all who knew their history. Their technology was unmatched, and their warriors ruthless. The Sauran had spent centuries in isolation, waiting for the right moment to strike. Now they had returned to reclaim their place at the top of the galaxy. They saw humanity's rise as a challenge to their ancient power. The message they sent was clear. The galaxy belonged to them, and anyone who stood in their way would be destroyed. Humanity had never encountered a force like the Sauran. The alien species moved swiftly, their fleets as fast as they were deadly. The galaxy's factions, still recovering from years of war, were not prepared for such an advanced and relentless foe. They turned to humanity for help. After all, humanity had already proven their strength. They had crushed the Shoran Empire and brokered peace where others had failed. Captain Marcus Carter, now one of the most respected leaders in the galaxy, gathered his council. The situation was grave. The Sauran were unlike any foe they had fought before. They had no interest in peace or diplomacy. They wanted to reignite the chaos, to bring the galaxy back to the way it had been. "We don't have the luxury of time," Captain Carter said, his voice calm but serious. "The Sauran will not negotiate. They only understand one thing: strength. We need to show them that humanity will not back down." The Council, fully aware of the dangers, agreed to fight. But this would be no ordinary battle. Humanity needed more than just strength. They needed strategy, unity, and resilience. The stakes were higher than ever before. If the Sauran won, they would dominate the galaxy, undoing everything humanity had worked for. The human fleet, smaller than the Saurans, moved quickly. They used their knowledge of the galaxy's terrain to their advantage, setting traps and ambushing the Sauran forces. The battle took place in the Sirium Nebula, a vast cloud of gas and dust that was known for its unpredictable space storms. The humans had prepared for this moment, turning the nebula into a battlefield that neutralized the Sauran's superior firepower. For hours, the battle raged. The Sauran attacked with all their might, but humanity's tactics proved too much for them. The human ships, agile and swift, struck with precision. They fought not just with strength, but with the will to protect the peace they had worked so hard to create. It was a grueling fight, but in the end, humanity's resolve proved stronger. The Sauran, battered and broken, were forced to retreat. The galaxy watched in awe as humanity, against all odds, defeated the ancient threat. The Sauran were not gone forever, but their power was shattered. Humanity had shown the galaxy that they were not just the galaxy's new power, they were its protectors. As the smoke of battle cleared, the galaxy saw something more than just a victory. They saw the future, a future where peace could be achieved, where unity could bring an end to endless war. Humanity had passed the last test. This part shows the final challenge humanity faces, testing not only their military strength, but their ability to unite and protect the peace they've worked so hard to build. It demonstrates that even in the face of overwhelming odds, humanity can prevail. The aftermath of the battle with the Sauron left the galaxy in a state of stunned silence. The ancient species, feared for their unmatched technology and ruthless nature, had been defeated by humanity. It was a victory no one had expected, but it was a victory that proved humanity's place in the galaxy. Captain Marcus Carter stood on the bridge of the human flagship, staring out into the vast expanse of space. The stars twinkled peacefully, a stark contrast to the chaos that had just unfolded. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. The galaxy was safe, for now. The other factions, still processing the scale of humanity's success, began to send messages of congratulations and support. The Sauron had been a threat to them all, and humanity's ability to defeat them was a sign that they had the strength to lead the galaxy into a new era. There was no more doubt. Humanity had earned their place at the table. But for Captain Carter, the victory was bittersweet. He had fought for peace, and the battle with the Sauron had shown just how fragile that peace was. The galaxy was still filled with dangers, and the old habits of war would not disappear overnight. Humanity had proven that they could protect the galaxy, but Carter knew that the real work had just begun. As the messages of congratulations continued to flood in, Captain Carter made a decision. The time had come to bring everyone together, to unite the galaxy not just under humanity's strength, but under their vision for a lasting peace. The human code wasn't just a set of rules. It was a promise to the galaxy that things could be different. The council met again, this time to discuss the next steps. The victory over the Sauron was a powerful symbol, but it was also a reminder that there was much work still to be done. Humanity's leadership was still young, and many factions remained skeptical about the long-term peace they had fought so hard for. "We've proven we can fight," Carter said, his voice firm. "But now we need to show the galaxy that we can lead with wisdom, not just strength. We must rebuild what was broken and create a future where war is not the first answer." The council agreed. The next phase would focus on reconstruction and cooperation. Humanity's victory was not just a victory for them. It was a victory for the galaxy as a whole. If the galaxy was going to truly heal, it would take more than just defeating a powerful enemy. It would take unity, understanding, and the willingness to work together. The first steps were difficult. Some factions resisted the idea of sharing power, while others were hesitant to trust humanity fully. But one by one, the factions began to see that humanity's vision for the future was not about domination. It was about creating a galaxy where peace could finally take root. As the years passed, the galaxy began to change. The old conflicts, once so deeply ingrained, slowly faded. The galaxy, under humanity's leadership, began to move toward a future that had once seemed impossible, a future where peace, rather than war, ruled the stars. And so, humanity's journey in the galaxy continued. They had come from a small, quiet world on the edge of the galaxy. Now, they were the protectors of the galaxy's future. The galaxy had shuddered when humanity entered the war, but now they shuddered with respect for the new order humanity had brought. The galaxy was not just at peace, it was transformed. This final part closes the story with a hopeful resolution, showing how humanity's strength and vision for peace have shaped the future of the galaxy. The story ends on a note of lasting change, with humanity taking its place as a leader and protector.